Triple H definitely wants CM Punk to play the game. With all the rumors about CM Punk possibly being bought out by AEW, WrestleVotes reported today that Triple H is easing his stance on a CM Punk WWE return. There's also major New Japan and WWE heat, all regarding Karl Anderson making his return to Monday Night Raw. Britt Baker adds to the AEW locker room toxicity, and Ava Raine, The Rock's daughter, debuts on NXT to very, very mixed reactions. All this plus so much more right here on Off the Script.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. Still a little bit under the weather, but regardless, I got a little bit of extra for you. It is October 26th, 2022. I am JD from New York, as always, coming to you from the beautiful OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Wednesday afternoons, wherever you may be. Tonight, Jesse and I will be live after AEW Dynamite. Make sure you guys RSVP to the venue. We will be live after the show is over right here on YouTube. And as always, if you guys want updates, follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And as always, I need 1,000 likes minimum on today's OTS Extra. Ava Raine, The Rock's daughter, Simone Johnson. Let's talk about that first, as she made her debut on NXT television last night, debuting as a part of Joe Gacy's group called The Schism. Tuesday's NXT, Joe Gacy unveiled his hooded figure, this mysterious figure that's been following them around, and Simone Johnson, now Ava Raine, was revealed as this hooded figure. She cut a short promo, and she said that Schism has removed, and I quote, any preconceived notions of who she is, and that is what she wants. She doesn't want any family ties to where she was born, raised, or who her family is. She doesn't want anything about that on WWE television, and she welcomed Schism as her family and says that the Schism completes her. Now, in recent weeks, like I said, this hooded figure has been seen with Joe Gacy at Halloween Havoc. Gacy asked this hooded figure if they are ready to reveal themselves. They nodded yes. It would go down on Tuesday, and that's what we got on NXT. Simone Johnson has been in the Performance Center since 2020. She's had multiple knee surgeries and has finally hit the road with NXT at house shows, and that started this past July. I know this made headlines in the IWC, and I know that I'm very just on top of things when I see it. I'm very opinionated when I see something. Normally, I don't let things breathe. I give you an instant reaction. That's my instant reaction. Not saying that I can't change my tune over time, but normally I'm an instant reaction type of guy, right? I let things process over time, and then I'll go back and reassess. That's just the type of guy that I am. I did not like this introduction. I did not. Now, I want to start off with a positive. I want to start off with Ava Raine. I like the name. I like the name. I think it fits her. I think it's something that sounds really cool. I also like the fact that they have taken her desires. And this is what Solo Sikoa wanted to do on his own. He did not want to be a part of the bloodline. He did not want to be an Uso. He wanted to be solo. So I like the fact that they have taken Ava Raine and her desires to not want to be a part of the Anoa'i family and to be a part of, the family that she comes from. And she doesn't want any mention of Dwayne or The Rock. She doesn't want any mention of her father. She wants to make her own name and carve out her own name and legacy for however long she does this on WWE television. And that is respectable. That is respectable. And to tie all that in with a group that is really about that, right? They want to welcome people in. It's like a cult, right? They want to welcome people in, and they want to guide people on how they see things and how they see the world and how they see life. And they tied all that in with a group that actually is about that with the Schism. So those are the positives, okay? I'm not saying that there wasn't any positive to come out of it. I like certain things about how they did it and the introduction last night and her desires to not want to be tied to her family. The things I did not like are the people jumping down my throat comparing The Rock and Ava Raine. Oh, well, you don't like this debut, but her father would know best out of everybody. Look at what they did to him, and he turned out all right. I am not here to compare, and neither should you be here to compare Ava Raine and Dwayne Johnson. The two situations are completely different. Dwayne Johnson came in on his own. Dwayne Johnson never came in as a part of a faction. Dwayne Johnson never came in as a fucking lackey. Dwayne Johnson never came in with the Nation of Domination. He grew up into the Nation, and they used the Nation to get him over. He came in with a shit gimmick and a shit look that embarrassed him, and it didn't really sit well with anybody knowing where he came from. Ava Raine was put into the Schism, and the Schism has already been ice cold for months on WWE television. This group is a charisma vacuum. This group is absolutely one of the most uninteresting aspects of all NXT television. They've taken Joe Gacy, who's very good at what he does. I actually enjoyed Gacy when he was with Harland more than I see Joe Gacy now with the grizzled young veterans and what the fuck they did to them, who were one of the best tag teams in the entire company. Joe Gacy's very good at what he does, but the group overall, together, in general, is a charisma vacuum. They are disinteresting, and they put Joe Gacy in a feud for the NXT title with Britt Baker, and they could not write a captivating story to save their life. It was all about kidnapping Rick Steiner and burning his Hall of Fame ring and making Braun look like a complete geek. They had druids and these Undertaker-like fucking vibes, and it was so bad. It was so bad. The match itself wasn't interesting. The fans are very indifferent to Joe Gacy and Schism. Meanwhile, you're putting Ava Raine in there with these charisma vacuums, and you expect her to look good by association? I don't know how that's going to work. When The Rock went to the Nation of Domination, he was a compliment to them. In this situation, and they actually made him better. The attitudes of Farouk and D'Lo and Mark Henry, they made The Rock better. They gave him the opportunity to express his freedom and to be who he is. I don't think this is going to work in that way with Ava Raine. It's not. Look at the attitudes of Schism and look at the attitudes of Ava Raine. You know she does not fit. She may look as far as the Schism goes. The look may fit, but she's not going to end up being this. This is a start, but a terrible one at that, in my honest opinion. All this is going to do is hold her back. I'm not saying she needs to go and live her legacy like she did The Rock. I'm not saying she has to be the next Charlotte Flair and take the family name and, tell everybody who her father is and she rides the coattails of her father. I appreciate she doesn't want to do that. That's the one reason why we don't like Charlotte Flair, right? But everybody's comparing Ava Raine and The Rock. It's so fucking stupid to even do so. She herself is saying she doesn't want any association. Meanwhile, I got people telling me, just compare it to The Rock. He did it. She'll be fine. You guys are absolutely mental. You're mental. She's telling you herself she doesn't want any association. Meanwhile, I got everybody telling me, just base it off what Dwayne did. She'll be fine. It's not the same thing. It's not fucking... When did he debut? It's not 20 years ago, 25 years ago. It's a different day and age. It's a different fan. It's a different writing team. They were a lot cooler back then. They're not cool now. Everybody's jumping all over this. I know, I get it. You want to believe. You want things to be good. You want things to be right. But Schism is not good. They're not good television. They're not good television. The one thing I'll say about all of this, just to kind of prove that I'm in the right, and I know I'm in the right, everybody's like, oh, this is going to be a great thing for Ava Raine. Really? All this is going to prove is that Ava Raine is greater than Schism and how worthless Schism really is and how bad Schism really is. When she proves, and I know it's going to happen, when she proves to be the best part of that group, everybody else is going to look that much more insignificant. So what is the point of pairing her with Schism when we all know that she's going to end up being bigger than all three of them combined? Does she really need them? I don't think so. WWE could have done a lot better with coming up with something a lot different to give her her own identity. We didn't need her to be paired with three charisma vacuums. Britt Baker. Let's talk about Britt Baker. She was on the Swerve City Podcast with Swerve Strickland. Talks about the toxicity in the AEW locker room. In this appearance, hosted by Swerve, I listened to it. I thought it was a great interview. He does a great job. He's got a great vibe on the show. Baker gave her thoughts, and I find this to be hilarious. Baker gave her thoughts on talent who may see themselves as bigger or irreplaceable to a wrestling promotion. She says, and I quote, "What's so toxic is when somebody thinks they're bigger than the company or that the company needs them. There's literally no one in AEW that they need other than Tony Khan to survive. Everybody can be replaced." End quote. Baker's comments come at a time when AEW has experienced very, very tumultuous times, toxicity in the locker room, including some that a few could argue were best because talents viewed themselves as bigger than the company. That being said, Baker was careful not to name any individuals, but you obviously know in her stating her opinion who she is indeed talking about in the women's locker room. Now, I don't know why those types of comments need to be said. She also went on a little bit about, oh, I broke my wrist, I broke my nose, I had several broken bones, I still made it to TV every week, and it's obviously a shot at Thunder Rosa, who's got a back problem that's going to get her back checked out, and she can't make television, and she pretty much had to surrender the AEW Women's Championship, which is now held interim by Toni Storm. Hopefully Thunder Rosa will be back on TV in the very near future, but I don't know why this needs to be discussed. I don't. Why are we adding with this interview to the toxicity of a locker room that is trying to clean up said toxicity? Britt Baker is very funny, man. She argues that, the company is in a position right now where you got talents coming in thinking that they're bigger than the company or irreplaceable. I find it funny how that's coming from the one woman that we've heard all these stories about in the AEW women's locker room who thinks she's the alpha female who is absolutely better than anybody and is irreplaceable. The one woman that is driving all other women out of the locker room and thinks the entire division is hers, and if she doesn't like it, she's going to throw a hissy fit and cry and bitch and moan that she's not getting her way. She's basically the Charlotte Flair of the AEW women's locker room. And I find it funny how Charlotte Flair was actually brought up in this podcast, and the comparisons are being made to Charlotte Flair. No shit. Just look at the attitude that comes from Britt Baker. Where does she get it from? She gets it from what's happening in WWE with Charlotte Flair. They are one and the same. Charlotte does it over there the same way that Britt Baker's doing it in AEW. I know things that a lot of people don't know. I'm not at liberty to say so. I know shit that I wish I could tell you, and I would be just like the Saps and the fucking Mike Johnsons out there breaking the news, but I can't do that because I've been sworn to just keep my mouth shut on this and just keep it the way I usually do it, and that's by myself. I know things that people don't know. So Britt Baker's out here claiming that, oh, everybody could be replaced, and, people thinking that they're coming in here being bigger than the company, being bigger than the locker room. She's talking about herself. Realistically, right? And she's kind of throwing Thunder Rosa under the bus in this situation and saying, oh, I'm on TV with my injuries. here we got Thunder Rosa with her injury. She's not on TV. I'm sorry. When did Thunder Rosa ever book the fucking show or book her own segments herself? I don't understand it. Is Thunder Rosa a favorite of Tony Khan's? Clearly not, right? Tony Khan books his favorites. CJ Perry, Miro's wife, even said so in a promo, or not a promo, an interview, which we'll discuss later tonight. She said that, why isn't Miro on television? Well, Tony Khan's running a business, and Tony Khan has his own favorites, just like Vince had his own favorites, just like Triple H has his own favorites. Britt Baker is a favorite of Tony Khan. So that's going to get her on TV a little bit more so than Thunder Rosa, who is not a favorite by Tony Khan. Also, additionally, I know a thing or two about the pro wrestling world. I've been watching since I was fucking 4 years old, man. I got 35 years plus experience watching this shit. I think I know a thing or two. It is easy for a heel to be on TV when injured with a broken nose, wearing a fucking face mask, getting heat from the crowd, a broken wrist, right? Being on TV, getting heat from the crowd. It's easy for a heel to be on TV, to be a sly, sniveling fucking coward of a heel, right? Put them in a tag team match. They don't really got to do much of anything, and have them cut a promo while they can't work and get heat from the crowd. It's very different for a heel to do that compared to a babyface to do that. So Thunder Rosa doesn't have the liberties of doing that and maintaining that heat while injured. It's a different world coming from a heel to a babyface. So for the fact that Britt Baker said that, it's very unfair, a very unfair comparison for Britt Baker to go out there and say that about not only Thunder Rosa, about anybody, no matter who is in this situation. In this particular situation, it's Thunder Rosa. It could have been any. It could have been Ruby Soho. Why isn't Ruby Soho on television? Right? She broke her nose, didn't she? Why isn't Ruby Soho on television? Britt Baker broke her nose. She's on television. Oh, that's right. Ruby Soho doesn't book herself in the fucking show. Ruby Soho is a baby face. What heat is she going to get? What good is it going to do for Ruby Soho to come on television and express herself to the crowd wearing a fucking face mask? You don't think she wants to be on television? Of course she wants to be on television. Britt says, I wanted to be there, even though I had a broken nose. I had surgery on Monday. Here I am on Wednesday on Dynamite. You don't think Ruby Soho wants to be on television? You don't think Thunder Rosa wants to be on television? My God, man, the blatant fucking attitude on this interview. I don't know. Here we got the locker room being cleaned up, and then you got Britt Baker going out there making these snide remarks. Is the locker room going to be any better after Thunder Rosa gets back knowing that these comments were said? She went on Busted Open Radio and said, if you have nothing additional to add and don't know anything about my situation, keep my name out of your mouth and shut the fuck up. I'm going to get my situation taken care of, and I'll be back when I'm back. I want to be there, but I can't. Everybody thinks it's fake. It's not. Then I got people telling me that Britt was working everybody on this podcast. She's not working anybody. Who is she working? She's not working shit. This is all a shoot. The attitude problems, the fucking problems with Thunder Rosa, all the stories you heard are real. They are driving Thunder Rosa out of the company. Sounds like Tony Khan and AEW driving Thunder Rosa right into the arms of Triple H, right? Britt Baker wants to think she is the queen bee of the women's locker room. If Thunder Rosa is driven out and does become free to sign with WWE, who do you think is going to be better at the end of all this? You think Britt Baker is going to be the biggest women's star in the business working in AEW? Or is Thunder Rosa going to go to WWE and Triple H is going to welcome her with open arms? Thunder Rosa could be a solid number 2 or number 3 in WWE on Raw or SmackDown and still be bigger than Britt Baker just because of who she works for. You didn't hear it from me. You didn't hear it from me. That's just the way things are. Moving on. Major New Japan and New Japan and WWE heat. New Japan Pro Wrestling and WWE heat in regards to Karl Anderson. This is a sticky situation, man. I don't know what's going on, but they issued a statement in regards to Karl Anderson being double booked for Battle Autumn, which is their show coming up, and Crown Jewel on November 5th. New Japan wrote, the match was made through the appropriate channels, and Anderson had expressed approval. The statement reads as follows: thank you for supporting New Japan Pro Wrestling. early morning Japan time on October 20th, never openweight champion Karl Anderson posted a video on social media indicating that he would not be making his advertised commitment on November 5th in Osaka. New Japan had announced Anderson's match with Hikuleo for the never openweight championship on October 4th. Despite comments from Doc Gallows to the contrary, in Anderson's video, the booking was made through the appropriate channels with Anderson's expressed approval. Now, according to Fightful, New Japan books in advance. They have long-term booking. Their mentality is long-term booking. According to Fightful, they have everything booked through Wrestle Kingdom. So they had all these plans made, and they are saying that it was made and the situations were made through the appropriate channels. So, however, they said, after the match's announcement, both Gallows and Anderson would appear on the October 10th edition of Monday Night Raw. This led to WWE announcing a match featuring both men for their Saudi Arabia event on November 5th against the Judgment Day, in direct conflict with Anderson's prior commitment. New Japan has, for the past several days, attempted to negotiate with Anderson, but has not been met with a response. Should Anderson decide to negotiate and kind of go back on, keeping up his schedule with the championship match, he will be required to vacate the never openweight championship and return the title belt to New Japan immediately. New Japan Pro Wrestling holds its champions to the highest standards of professionalism and sincerely apologizes to fans for any disappointment or inconvenience caused by this matter. So New Japan is very upset. They want Anderson to drop the title to Hikuleo, and if they don't get what they want, he has to vacate the championship and give the championship back. Karl Anderson went on social media and said this to Hikuleo. He's not giving up the never openweight championship. He's not vacating shit. He's going to defend it on his time. He'll see Hikuleo when he sees Hikuleo. So I don't know what's going on with this situation, but I think both companies are really kind of making a little bit of an embarrassment out of themselves, or Karl Anderson, I should say, is making an embarrassment out of him, and then New Japan is making an embarrassment out of themselves. This is something now that is public knowledge. New Japan, if New Japan has booked themselves all the way through Wrestle Kingdom, I don't fault them for that. They got long-term booking. They got plans. They want, they got their own vision. That's the way that they've always been. That's something that we have to appreciate. That's something that we have to honor, okay? Karl Anderson should have honored the New Japan way of doing things. They were gracious enough, and they believed in him enough to give him a championship. And now here he is signing with the WWE, and who knows if they're going to allow him to go defend that title when they want him to. So WWE, at the end of the day, we all know how they operate. They don't play well with others. He signed over there exclusively. I don't see them having Karl Anderson go to New Japan, potentially getting injured over there, ruining their plans. Once you sign with WWE, you're WWE. You ain't going to work any other wrestling promotion, and that includes a New Japan Pro Wrestling, no matter what. Karl Anderson fucked up here. If he knew that New Japan had plans already in the can for him, and he went and signed with WWE, it's not a good look for him. And they gave him the time, they gave him the opportunity, and that's what you do to them. It's a little shade, it's a little dirty. It's not really all that respectful. But Karl Anderson, I said this before, he probably sees this as his last major chance to A, have a run, and B, a last chance at a major payday with WWE, and he took the opportunity to do so. I can't fault him for that either. But there are ways to go about this and work around all of this to make sure both parties are happy, to make sure Karl Anderson is happy. If he wants to sign with WWE, I'll sign. Let me drop this championship. Did we need this match to take place at Crown Jewel? No, we did not. We did not. He could have dropped the title, and then we could have done this match on a Raw or a SmackDown, or we could have just saved the big match for Survivor Series. WWE wanted what they wanted when they wanted it, and they got what they wanted. Fucking New Japan in the process. Karl Anderson fucking New Japan in the process. And on New Japan's side, I get that they're upset. They take things seriously, respectful. They treat their championships with honor and all this other shit. At the end of the day, get your fucking title back. What are you missing? It's Karl Anderson. It's not like Jay White jumped ship to WWE. It's not like Okada jumped ship to WWE and disrespected your fight. It's Karl fucking Anderson. At the end of the day, you're making a big deal about a never open weight title, which is probably on the fucking very low list of priorities, and it's Karl Anderson. Whatever. Let him go. Get your title back. That's it. There are ways around it. It could have been done better, but at the end of the day, I think it's going on too long, and it's a little bit of a silly situation. And finally, guys, Triple H. Triple H has been in the news, and WrestleVotes is talking about Triple H's stance on CM Punk returning to WWE. And one day, Triple H said, no, it would never happen. And now all of a sudden today, WrestleVotes is reporting that Triple H's stance on CM Punk joining WWE has softened a bit. So there's a lot of speculation right now about CM Punk and his future in the wrestling business. Happy birthday to CM Punk, by the way, October 26th. CM Punk, he is injured. He's still contracted to AEW. There's rumors about a buyout, and nobody knows what's going on. The internal investigation is still going on. AEW is in talks reportedly about a buyout of CM Punk's contract, and the only hang-up right now is a non-compete portion of the buyout. The belief is that since AEW wants a non-compete clause in the buyout, they believe WWE could be interested in bringing Punk back, as no other promotion would be able to afford what CM Punk would be asking outside of WWE. Before AEW signed Punk, Fox was the one who pushed for WWE to talk with Punk, as he previously worked on WWE Backstage on FS1. Those in WWE believe that Vince McMahon wouldn't have brought Punk back, especially after the all-out situation at the media scrum, if he was still in charge. WrestleVotes, which has broken numerous stories on Twitter over the years, said that shortly after Triple H took over in July, he was told that Triple H wanted nothing to do with CM Punk, but that seems to have changed as CM Punk's stance on Punk is now softening up a little bit. He says, and I quote, I did ask over the last couple of days, and it has softened a little bit from what I understand. I still think there's animosity. I still think there's a lot of pieces that needed to be picked up between the two of them specifically. But Hunter learned from Vince McMahon, and Vince made amends with everybody. WrestleVotes added that the door is not closed on Punk returning to WWE. This is a very sticky situation. On one hand, you look at AEW wanting the non-compete. I don't blame them for wanting it. With what Punk did, and all that he said, with WWE in the rearview mirror and him going on TV and blasting WWE, and all the comments he made about the locker room, joining the locker room and joining AEW. He did it for us. He came back for us. He's working for Tony Khan. He's so happy. I remember when Tony Khan bought the Ring of Honor library. It's in the right hands, as if it would be in the wrong hands if Vince McMahon bought it, right? It's in the right hands with Tony Khan. Yet he goes out there and at the media scrum, buries the company, buries the locker room, buries his boss who's sitting right next to him, showing no regard at all for anything Tony Khan has built in the 3 years of AEW, basically taking everything he's done and burned it to the ground and made everything about himself and made everything that happened on All Out that pay-per-view night a completely fucking non-story. So I don't blame Tony Khan for wanting a non-compete in the potential buyout of his contract. I don't trust him as far as I could speak his fucking name after what he did. So yes, I would want a non-compete. How long that non-compete is going to be, I don't know. CM Punk, if he goes back to WWE, everything that he said, he would be the absolute biggest hypocrite in the entire industry that anybody has ever seen. For everything he said over the last 7 years, and so vehemently going on every fucking platform that he could to talk about it over and over and over again, to put exclamation points on top of all the previous points he stated about WWE and how they treated him in the locker room and the management and the way things worked over there. If he goes back, literally everything he said would be wiped clean, and there's not a single fucking person that would look at him and believe a fucking word out of his mouth ever again. Is CM Punk about CM Punk? Yes. Is CM Punk? I truly believe CM Punk is more about the money than he is about being back for us. I do. And if he goes to WWE, I mean, I feel that now. I mean, it's just going to be concrete confirmation that it's only about that if he goes back to WWE after all that he said over the last 7 to 8 years about what they did to him. Does Triple H want CM Punk? Absolutely. CM Punk in WWE for Triple H would bring a smile to Triple H's face. And Triple H, I could already fucking hear the sounds of that knife being sharpened. He wants to take that knife and he wants to stick it in the back of AEW any way that he can. This would be the ultimate opportunity for Triple H to go and do that to Tony Khan. Absolutely. He wants to stick it in and wrench that shit and fucking not let go at all. And that's what he sees with CM Punk. But the thing is, how much value will CM Punk have if he goes to WWE? I already said this. I don't see CM Punk as a game changer. CM Punk wasn't a game changer for AEW. In fact, with Punk gone, AEW has been producing A, better television, and B, do I think he could add to AEW television? Absolutely. I mean, CM Punk would add to any promotion. It doesn't matter. But Tony Khan seemingly hasn't missed a beat. There are problems, but the ratings have drawn over 1 million, right? Several times already without CM Punk. And does he really add all that much more to AEW television? I don't think so. In fact, I honestly think a lot of people look at Punk and the Andrades and all the ex-WWE guys coming in as a way to hurt AEW. It hurts their, I wouldn't say it hurts their value, but it hurts their reputation because they are so far deviated away from what they originally set out to be. If I want to watch WWE, I'll go watch WWE. I don't want to watch WWE on AEW television. I want to watch AEW television for the reasons that I fell in love with the show on year 1 going into year 2. What is he doing? Does he need Punk? The advertisers may want Punk. TNT may want Punk. TBS may want Punk. Warner Media may want Punk. Ring of Honor may need Punk, right? But does he need Punk? I don't think he needs Punk. Go find yourself the next CM Punk. Go build yourself the next CM Punk. Minus the fucking ego and minus the attitude. If Punk goes to WWE, what value is he going to bring to WWE? Who do you want to see him in the ring against right now that we haven't seen already? Lesnar? We've seen it. You mean to tell me a Lesnar-Punk match is going to be better than what we got last time they were in the ring? Punk versus Triple H is the only match that I would care to see, and Triple H can't wrestle anymore. Punk versus Reigns, we know how that's going to end up. Punk versus Edge? Punk versus Cody? Maybe Cody, that's it. Who's to say Punk is going to be welcomed back into that locker room? Triple H is softening his stance because Triple H looks at this opportunity to take the knife and stab it in the back of AEW and kill them once and for all. That's the only reason why he softened his stance. He's got that Vince McMahon mentality. He's got the mentality that Punk, Matt, Nick, and Kenny Omega with Tony Khan do not have. If I don't like them, fine. But I could make money off you and you can make money off us and we can make money together. So I think there's a fucking situation there that we could discuss. That's what all of these men should be doing with AEW. They should be doing what Triple H is thinking about already, just fucking salivating over the thought of Punk being a free agent. I want to make money off of this. He wants to make money off CM Punk back in WWE. He's already seeing the dollar signs. That's what all of these men should do. All of them. You don't think there's millions and millions and millions of money to be made here with this situation if they all come back and put their differences aside? I'm not saying you got to fucking be brothers and love each other. Go and make your money and do it for the fucking company. A Kenny Omega and CM Punk main event is big enough at this point with this situation to sell out TIAA Stadium. Mark my words. If they put those men in a stadium, sell out based off that. And how they don't know that, I don't know. I don't know. Only time will tell, but his stance is now softened because of CM Punk possibly being bought out of AEW. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys tonight live for AEW Dynamite right here on OTS. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up down below. Please follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for notifications. Jesse and I will see you tonight live after Dynamite right here on Off the Script. See you guys later.